Task 2. Listen to a man talking about science and choose the correct answer.
Science is one of the most important subjects we study at school. I loved it. I thought it was so interesting. Time in my science lessons went very quickly because I was always working on things and doing experiments. I liked all of the sciences, physics, biology, and chemistry. I wish I continued studying science. I would love to be a scientist now. I think being a computer scientist would be great. Science is so important for our life and our world. All of the world's problems can be solved with science. We can go to different planets because of science. I hope governments pump lots of money into science so we have more and better scientists in the future. It's interesting to think about what future science will be like.
Listen to a talk about electricity and fill in the gaps.
Electricity is one of the most important inventions ever. It is the thing that powers the earth. If there was no electricity, we'd be back in the Dark Ages. Few people stop and think just how amazing electricity is. With the flick of a switch, you can power almost anything. Think about what would happen if there was no electricity. We'd have no TV, no computers, no traffic signals. It would be like going back to living in caves. There are a few negative points about electricity, of course. Number one, it's dangerous. Thousands of people die each year from electrocuting themselves or in electrical fires. And number two, it isn't good for the environment. Most electricity comes from burning coal, and that creates greenhouse gases.
Listen to a talk between Tom and Nick about cloning technology. Decide if the statements are true, T, or false, F. Circle T or F. You will listen twice. I read about human cloning technology yesterday. It's so wonderful.
Cloning technology? What is that, Tom?
It's a technology that creates an exact copy of a person from his/her gene.
Sounds terrible. Imagine you see someone exactly like you in the street. What would you do? How would you feel?
Actually, they think the same and act the same.
I see. Tom, do you think some people may use that for bad purposes?
Not really. This technology can certainly be used for good things. For example, we could find ways to cure serious illness.
I feel scared about this.
No worries, Nick. You know, many people who can't have babies can have children by this way. That's why I say it's wonderful.
Task 1. Listen to the news report and choose the correct answer for each question below.
An province was badly affected again when a typhoon hit the area last night. The storm began at around 11 p.m. and raged throughout the night. Dozens of people were seriously injured and hundreds of others were left homeless. The severe winds caused extensive damage to property, including homes and businesses, particularly in Kuala, a coastal town in Nye An. The storm had already weakened by the time emergency workers arrived in the area. Rescue operations have started, and many people trapped in collapsed or damaged buildings have been freed. Workers are now clearing up the debris left behind by the severe storm. The government has already sent rescue equipment to Nye An, as well as food and medical supplies. People left homeless have been taken to safe areas, where temporary accommodation will be built to house them. The Weather Bureau has issued flood warnings for Ny An and nearby provinces as heavy rain is expected to continue over the next few days.
Task 1. Listen to the news report and choose the correct answer for each question below.
Ny An province was badly affected again when a typhoon hit the area last night. The storm began at around 11 p.m. and raged throughout the night. Dozens of people were seriously injured and hundreds of others were left homeless. The severe winds caused extensive damage to property, including homes and businesses, particularly in Hk2 a coastal town in Ny An. The storm had already weakened by the time emergency workers arrived in the area. Rescue operations have started, and many people trapped in collapsed or damaged buildings have been freed. Workers are now clearing up the debris left behind by the severe storm. The government has already sent rescue equipment to Ny An, as well as food and medical supplies. People left homeless have been taken to safe areas, where temporary accommodation will be built to house them. The Weather Bureau has issued flood warnings for Ny An and nearby provinces as heavy rain is expected to continue over the next few days.
Listen to the instructions on what to do in an earthquake. Decide if the statements are true or false. Circle T or F. You will listen twice. Now listen and circle T or F.
There are a number of things you can do to stay safe during an earthquake. If you are indoors, you must stay away from windows, glass, or anything that could fall, such as lightings. Then, take cover by getting under a stable table or something hard and wait until the quake stops. Don't attempt to run outside during the quake, because you may get badly injured. If you are outdoors during an earthquake, stay there. Move away from buildings, street lights, because they may fall upon you at any time. And if you are in a moving vehicle during an earthquake, stop as quickly as possible and stay in the vehicle. Avoid stopping near trees, buildings, and utility wires. Lastly, if you are trapped under debris, try to cover your mouth with a handkerchief or clothing. Don't keep shouting, don't light a match, or move around for you may kick up dust. You should tap on a pipe or wall so rescuers can locate you.
Listen and complete each gap in the table with one or two words from the recording.
Welcome to our club meeting. As you know, we are organizing a Go Green Weekend event next Sunday. Before presenting the event schedule, let me briefly tell you about the teams and activities. There will be 3 teams. Each team will take care of one specific task. The cleanup team will be responsible for cleaning the Central Park in our town. They will pick up rubbish, bottles, plastic bags, anything that's lying around. They will also water small trees and flowers in the park. The donation team will collect used items from local people. Then they will have to sort and put them into the correct bags. This will make delivery much easier and will also help reach the people who need these items quickly. The media team will be responsible for reporting on the event. They will take photos of the activities during the event and post them on the club's website. They will also write a report which will summarize the results of the event and make suggestions for other club activities in the future.
Good morning, I'm John Masters and this is Shop Up, the weekly show on retail and shopping. Later in today's show, we'll be talking to online shopping expert Martha Jones. But before that, we're talking about some famous shops from around the world. And live from New York City, we've got Madison, who's going to tell us all about Macy's.
Hi, John. Well, one of the most famous department stores in New York City is Macy's. There are over 850 Macy's stores all over the United States. But the flagship store is in Herald Square, Manhattan, just around the corner from the Empire State Building. Interestingly, Roland Macy, the company founder, opened his first shops in the town of Haverhill, Massachusetts, between 1843 and 1855, but they weren't successful. However, Macy learned from his mistakes, and in 1858 he moved to New York. He opened his first New York store on 18th of October, 1858, and was immediately successful. The Herald Square store was opened in 1902. Macy's is especially famous for its Thanksgiving Day Parade, which marks the beginning of the Christmas season.
That's great, Madison. Thanks a lot. And